Listen, baby, ain't no mountain as high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby. If you need me, call me, no matter where you are, no matter how far. Don't worry, baby. uh, well, that's all the high vibrations I'm giving out tonight. And this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host, Big Pontiac, for anyone that hasn't seen it. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game created by the Hero Twins. And I am also your one and only Galactic Daddy-O. Welcoming each and every one of the Chocolate Mountaineers to my galactic patio that reaches from infinity, from Minnesota to infinity, so far as we can go. And tonight's beer is Flounders Porter. So pop them if you got them. And to highlight you guys on what's going on in Minnesota. So what has changed in Minnesota is what you see right here, 0.3%. All right, that's what was given before, 0.3%. So now what's legal is 0.5%. Is it a little different? Yeah. But tonight we have the Deltas, Delta 8 THC, 500 milligram bars. That is, and we've got the infinity symbol. And see, they just don't understand. And maybe they do when they put this pyramid in there. It kind of locks you. A lot of spiritual people kind of locks them. So smoke them if you want them. I am going on gummies. Hey, Lobo, what's happening? How you been, man? Today they were showing that the NFL camps. Was that yesterday? Yesterday, yeah, yesterday because we was at the restaurant watching. They were showing Cardinals in camp. And then they gave that money to Murray. And did you see what they tried to do to Murray? They tried to say that Murray had to study. Do you know when you play college, when you play high school football, you got to film study. I mean, anybody born in the last 30 years, if you in NFL, you've been studying film since you was in junior high. I mean, what do you think the games on Sundays and Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays are for? If you're a high school player, Saturday you should be watching college games to learn the college game. And when you are in college, you start watching the pro game so you can learn the pro game. You start watching your position. You start seeing anything you can pick up that they do. And they had the thing to put in Murray's contract about film study. They said he pulled it out today, that he didn't study enough film. It's impossible to play college football at quarterback level when you're not constantly studying film. Now, do some guys fit in certain schemes easier? Yeah, but you still have to learn the verbiage. They give you a book like this, these offensive plays. I mean, for a quarterback, you walk up into a set. Now, if anybody knows anything, you studied any kind of receiving, receivers are basically put on a receive, routes are receiving trees. So the difference between the run and shoot between the old offense when they put in the run and shoot was this. Run and shoot was the first thing that looked at cover one and cover two and how to break it, to hit you in that seam. And the run and shoot was when they started putting in where it wasn't just one route. It was actually, most times you would have three different options. Now, that did create a problem because if you and the quarterback ain't on the same page, again, you can have a misfire there. But so not only does the quarterback have to know the main routes, he has to know each man's three different routes. And you don't get that kind of attention. You don't learn that from not studying. I mean, it's almost a possibility. I saw what they did with Kyler Murray. That's the wildest clause I've ever seen. But they said they dropped it today. That's what I saw, that they dropped it out of negotiations. Oh yeah, and with a quarterback guru in Oklahoma. You know, or yeah, he was in Oklahoma, wasn't he? Didn't he transfer to Oklahoma? Yeah. So yeah. So well, it's like they're trying to put with Zion. They're trying to say Zion got a weight clause. Um, Now it's not the first time they put weight clauses in. What was his name? What was the big fella's name? He played for Dallas. I want to say he was up in Portland, but that guy's weight fluctuated in the 90s, maybe early 2000s. Miller. His name was Miller. He was a dude who always had those weight problems. And of course, the young man that recently died, that played at Purdue, that played out there, he had the weight problems too. So it's not that big guys can't have weight problems. Uh, but I think it's insulting what they did to Zion. They're acting like this dude who's working out every day. When you rehab, you work out every day. There's very few times where when you rehab, you ain't got something going on every day. And when you rehab, they're going to put you on a certain nutritional pattern because when you rehab, you might burn a little extra calories given to, you can't fully participate. So it seems like, almost insulting, the players. Yeah, he transferred from Texas A&M. That's right. He was the first one to left Kevin, what was his name? He's at the USFL. He left him. He was one of the first guys that started saying that this dude is tripping. Yep. Caleb Swingman gained a bunch of weight after he was out of the league. Yeah, but it's like even more, yeah. And so, these guys, but dudes who are in the league and still in the process, because again, Caleb opted out, which again, why? Why did he opt out? He opted out, so he had to sit out. That means he's not training. That means he's getting paid. He still got paid. That's union, because the union gave you the option. Yeah, the union and the league gave you the option to sit out, and you still got paid. However, that meant you was barred from the gym. It's not clear how they did rehab. That's not clear, because I was still during that same period, I was still going to therapy. They was all masked up. We was masked up, but I was still doing therapy. So I don't know why he wouldn't have done therapy. So it's like nobody in the organization looked at this cat, and this cat just gained all this weight. But I mean, the timing was so terrible too. The timing was terrible. Gyms was closed. And if you really didn't have the means to rent a gym by yourself, he was kind of ass out in a lot of ways. Richer players that had gyms on their properties were able to rent the gyms, but a guy like him probably just didn't have the money to rent that kind of thing. Or I don't know. Why didn't he have the equipment at the house? That's another question. It's a giant treadmill right in front of me right here, so no excuse. This type of room can have a giant treadmill. He could have had a treadmill at the least. Do you know how many houses I look at up here that have half-court hoops in them, in the house? So, it's different type of commitments, that people have. Hard to understand that, though. Hard to understand. But timing was everything. And again, one thing you guys got to understand when we talk about the man, when we talk about the beast, one thing that has to be understood is how patient it is. I get that a little bit from Quantum of Science, and that's a good point. You have to look over history, how patient this thing is. This thing is the most patient kind of thing in the world. And I know that's kind of getting off, but you look at this individual person, the thing was so patient on the way it destroyed him. It destroyed him. It destroyed him where he was in some kind of trouble. I don't quite remember. But then they destroyed his career because he was probably forced to sit out. That's probably forced to sit out and give me the money. And then the timing of them shutting everything down. And again, we know people that, stress. Now, I don't know. Let me tell you like this. So if I wasn't playing pro basketball and they told me I did not have to hoop, I would have put enough money where I would have been living somewhere with a half hoop. I would have had weights in my house. And again, my background is, with the football and basketball. But I would have had all that around me. So I'm hitting that thing every day. They weren't. You still, if you had a hoop outside your house, you could still shoot outside your house if you live in nice weather. So that's, how I would have faced that kind of thing. It would have been like, I'm off, I'm getting paid. It's like, think about it like this. When players get like when players break a finger or break a hand, do you know that's like a year off in some ways? It's almost like a year off. Now, certain position that hurts, certain positions that do hurt. That year off of Adrian Peterson ruined everything for him. He might have broken all the rushing records, but that year off where they did that fake Byron of him. So, but that's how I would have been. I mean, so sometimes some of the injuries be like little injuries that really keep you for another year. Hand injuries, little things like that keep you healthy for another year for the most part. You going to camp, you pretty healthy. Your legs is good. Your hands, it's easy to, bandage them up, put tape. It's easy to do that kind of thing. So my point is in saying how the man or the beast is so patient. They really wait out this kind of thing. I mean, remember, it was a young man here. What wasn't his name? Was it Eddie House or Eddie Griffin? That they want to say that he drove his truck on train tracks to be hit. I mean, is that really believable? I think his name was, I watched him hoop here. He played for the Timberwolves. Eddie House or Eddie Griffin. What was that guy's name? But that guy played here, and that's the way they want you to think he's died. Look at the way, what's his name that played at St. John that died here. He died over by where I was living. I lived by where he got hit. He hit a car kind of the same way my cousin got killed in Michigan. Supposedly, Malik Sealy. Supposedly, he's going down 169, and actually, I don't live too far off 169. He's going down 169 in a Land Rover Defender. And the guy supposedly is going the wrong way, and they collide. And this ends Malik Sealy's life. Now, if we look at it in a whole, we have to understand that that was a sacrifice for Kevin Garnett. I mean, it's no other way to look at it. But that's how patient this thing is. Here he is in one of the safest vehicles that he should have survived a head-on crash in that type of vehicle. I've had one of those vehicles. I had a Range Rover, Land Rover. That thing had something like 8 to 10 airbags. And mine was a 7 or 8. 6, 7 or 8. I mean, it was airbags everywhere. It was like 3 or 4 airbags in the door here. It was an airbag here. I mean, it was airbags everywhere for the driver. And yet he didn't survive. Very safe cars. Now, again, I've taken classes on accident investigation. I'm an accident investigator. I've had that training. I understand all that. I looked at what the cars did to my cousin when she was, killed in a very similar manner. But again, the car she had wasn't safe as the car he had. So he should have survived. And so we have a thing that is so patient and so diabolical that it just waits everything out. From Hartford, Connecticut, moved to Jersey when he was 12. From Hartford, Connecticut, moved to Jersey when he was 12. Eddie Griffin. Yeah, Eddie Griffin. That's what I thought his name was. He was weird, though. He was arrested for beating off in a car while watching porn in the car. That's funny, hard hitting. That's funny. But even that kind of story. I mean, he couldn't have got a room, or he couldn't went back to his place. He was, what was that? But, and I've heard others say, suicide by police. Could be. Yep, he wore 33. Yep, wore 33. I remember that. But to believe that, this cat, yeah, okay. So this cat that he hated life that much, or life had beat him down that much, that he really needed to He really needed to drive himself in front of a train to end it all. I mean, too many times. Right here. Let's see. Too many times we see people that have to pay, and that's what people don't understand. That you have to pay. So that's the sad part. That is the sad part. I'm sorry, I was just trying to look something up I wanted to share. So I'll share it as we go. Yep. But that's how that's what they want you to think. They want you to think that this is how they did themselves in, but this is the price of fame. The price of fame is really hell. It's really hell. It is not all the glamour. I mean, Sly is spot on when he talks about the illusion of wealth. Why do you think they have to show these people giving chains away and giving this? I mean, why do you think? I watch the Business Channel all day. CNN comes, not CNN, but Fox gets all these business people to come on, all these CEOs and owns these companies. People that can afford real jewelry. Every once in a while you catch a cat with them watches on. But for the most part, these people don't have to show off wealth. Why is it that just this business that you have to show off this type of wealth? Now, I am a jewelry lover. You understand that. But it's just, why this over the top kind of stuff? Why are they always the over the top? Everything's got to be over the top. You can have nice stuff that we went and looked at ladies' Coach watches. They were nice. They were like, one was $100. It had the carriage in the watch. It was a cool little watch. It functions. It works. And it looks good. So, I don't know. They needed teeth to identify him and watch them play AAU. He was nasty. I would have roasted in this area. Stretch big like that, he would have roasted. Yeah, big guy. Yup. Oh, there he is. What are you doing up so late? He's up late. That is my brother. How you doing, man? Thanks for staying up late and checking me out. I know it's pretty late. Damn, I only been going for 20 minutes. Seems like I've been going for 2 days. But that's what I think. I think he was a Kevin Garnett. Well, Sealy definitely was a Kevin Garnett sacrifice. Sealy really helped that team a lot defensively. I think he helped I know he helped the locker room. I want to say they had got rid of JR by then. And Garnett loved J.R. Rider. He really did. You see one of the early interviews when they talk about Michael Jordan, and he was like, well, I play with a type of player like Michael Jordan every day, and it's JR. And I think my greatest vision or memory of JR is him doing the butterfly on half court. They had beat, I think of all the games I've watched the Timberwolves, I think I've watched a million Utah games. I don't know why. Seemed like they had beat Utah. I could just see when they drop all the confetti, because every game they win, they drop the confetti. And I can still picture him dancing. Funniest athlete I ever met in my life. Funniest athlete I ever come across, as far as a dude that was quick-witted, that could keep being like this, but kind of laid back. I mean, snap on people, like what they did to him here. Agreed to do autographs, and then a girl is just harassing him. He's trying to talk to a young lady, and the girl is just harassing him. And when I replay that scene sounds like just like when they killed Red Fox. How Red Fox was trying to do these interviews, making a little some change, and they're mad because Red Fox was giving these interviews he's going to get paid for. So they harass him to try to, and it ended up giving Red Fox a heart attack. Well, they did the same thing with the JR. JR agreed to do this interview, sign these autographs. He agreed to it. It was around time to start. He's like, give me a few more minutes, which is reasonable for anybody. He's there. It ain't like he's coming late. He's there. He was engaged with somebody. Give me a few more minutes. We was all just like chilling, waiting to see what him sitting there. And I watched this staff aggravate him. And all he did is he walked the girl down. She fell. He like walked in her face and like, leave me the fuck alone. I told you I was going to agree to do this. Why are you bothering me? I'm here. I ain't late. Give me a few more minutes. And the girl fell down, and as he walked up on her, you understand? So she fell down, and so as he walked, when she fell back, he like walked into her feet, like her feet hit his feet. And then she tried to say he kicked her. But I said, it was a group of people. We all sit there and watched. The girl fell down by herself. And just the way he was walking, he didn't kick her feet. It's just her feet touched his feet. And she tried to say he was kicking her. He ain't kick her. But it was like the same kind of irritation, you know, if you understand what I'm saying. Junior was a baller. No wonder KG never got out of the first round. Wolves got 5 first-round picks taken from them. That's a good point. But a lot of them picks, man. Oh, my goodness, a lot of them picks. Seen MJ? Yeah, she texted me a minute ago. She's working now. So MJ is working. She's back working. She got a job. And so that's why she she comes and watches some videos every now and then. She texted me a couple months ago. So she's doing good. Hit her up. But she's working. She's back working, so she's doing good. Who was the big center they got from? Was it Syracuse? The Wolves got number 1, light-skinned dude. Oh, he was horrible. I couldn't believe they drafted him number 1. Remember, they drafted Randy Foyle, number 1. He sucked. Trying to keep going. Who else? So many busts. So many terrible players. As I said, I didn't think Christian Laettner was a bad pick. I like Christian Laettner. I really did. He was solid. Christian Laettner was solid. Now, was he an all-star player? No. Was he Larry Bird? Definitely not. But he was going to give you, most nights he's going to give you 15 and 10. You could pretty much count on that. I mean, the scoring might not come, but he was going to give you 10 rebounds every game. Every game he was consistent. Every game he was going to score in double figures. I'll say 15 and 10 every game. He wasn't bad. I watched him play. He played hard, but he wasn't Larry Bird. Bigger dude, too. Laettner had to be 6'10", 6'11". So I thought it was unfair what they did to him. I thought it was unfair the expectations they had on him because he wasn't Larry Bird. And that's how he was presented as the next Larry Bird. That's why he was on the Dream Team. He was presented as the next Larry Bird. That was never his game. Never his game. Never his game. Hey, Greg. Okawanda. No, it wasn't him. No. Oh, yeah, they had Marbury, too. No, this guy. No, Okawanda Wally. Let me say. This dude would have been drafted in 91 or 92. I want to say he hooped at Syracuse. Big light-skinned dude that was 7 foot. Because the Timberwolves started in 89. So this dude, Pooh Richardson, I think, was the first pick ever. Pooh was out of UCLA, if I remember right. This dude was a couple years later. Out of Syracuse, I think. He was out of the Big East. Big light-skinned dude. But Stevenson is what I want to say his name was, but I don't think that's right. But he wasn't good. Hey, Chanel, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. That's so nice of you. Yeah, so I can't remember his name. I can't remember that name. I'd have to look. But Stevenson seems like, or big light-skinned dude. But he sucked, and it was a stupid pick. And then the year where they had the worst league, and they picked 14th, which is, 15th is out of the lottery. But they picked 14th. They got the worst league. It was like one of them years when LeBron or somebody got drafted. And they had the worst team. And they picked 14th. That's not built. But they had years, yeah, like somebody said, bad picks. Bad picks. And I even look at this what they did bringing a dude here from Utah. I don't understand that. You want Towns to play 4. That's what you're saying. You want Towns to play 4. But with Joe Barrow, now you're going to be slow. You got 2 slow dudes. That doesn't make any sense. When they face smaller teams that are quick, that shoot well, both of them going to have to sit down. Who they guarding? Who, when they moving the ball up and down, who are those two guarding? They can't guard anybody. So I don't know. I don't know what this new guy that they brought in is going to do. I'm not that. Just didn't seem smart to give those assets up for what they got. I just don't understand how he is going to change to make them better. You know, where you have lateral moves, it didn't do anything for them. Like trade's supposed to make you better. All they made was just some lateral moves. That's all they did. It was just a lateral move. It is not a move that is going to raise them up here. So, but I don't think that's I don't think it was ever. I don't see them ever winning. I think they're going to be like the Detroit Lions. They will never win. It's the same thing here. I mean, they're going to let them be competitive, but to say that they're going to let them through, no, I don't think. I don't think they're going to let him go through. I don't think they'll ever let them go through. I don't think they're going to let the Vikings ever go through either. And the Vikings is a funny kind of deal because it makes you wonder. The Vikings were supposed to be in the AFL, and the last minute they switched and went to the NFL. I don't know. Is that what were they punished for? Originally going to be in the NFL? I don't know. Oh, there she is. How you doing? Liquid Fire. Thank you for joining me. Looking cool on the sofa, my brother. Okay, thank you. Yeah, couldn't get didn't take the time, to get the laptop going, to get the cameras going and stuff. So trying to see how this works, and the sound in here is, and near a big window right here. So we'll see if this works. So this is kind of testing actually. So hopefully get the other equipment set up. I don't know if it's gonna be set up tomorrow. We're kind of busy. Swam all day. I'm all burnt. Swam for hours. Took my daughter swimming, so we swam and I played pickleball. I admit this young boy smoked me. I mean, he smoked me. I had been working out, and this dude was like, we just was playing one-on-one, and just was killing me. He beat me 2 games easy. I barely scored on him. Like the third game, I was finally starting to figure him out a little bit, but he's still quicker than me. And then finally, his father and I played him by himself, and he still beat his father and I. He still beat us. I would dare say one-on-one, he's the best player I've ever faced one-on-one. Yeah, clearly the best player I've ever faced that. Soon as like his like you look at shots as your first, like when you serve, you're really mentally thinking, what you want to do on your second, third shot. And it was like, wow, he had all that together. He's good as any grown man I played against. And I played against a lot of cats. Again, we didn't play doubles, so doubles games is different than that. I mean, could he do? I saw where he fatigued a little bit, but he worked me out, and I did not anticipate because nobody was there. And that's the beauty thing of playing pickleball. When I went, nobody was really there. One dude was doing what I was doing, working out. And then those people, this guy and his father's on the phone for about an hour. He was just on the phone out there. Me and him just started working out. So I got a great workout. So I feel good. And I swam. Earlier. Probably going to swim tomorrow, too. I think we're going to swim and then go play pickleball, too. So getting the summer on. Yeah. August is coming. They put the summer go so slow, but all of it does. And, again, as I said before, we always have the long days of May, which I love, the long days of May and the long days of June. The solstice come, like when I'm getting off work, it's already starting to be dark. 9 o'clock, it's already starting to be dark. I think the light is really, well, we're going to have, what, a year of no daylight savings too. So it's going to be dark in the morning. I look kind of fuzzy. Okay. Thank you. I hope that helped. I think that's where the camera is. I wiped it down. Hey, PJ. But thank you. and I'm a little further away. So hopefully next time I'm in this room, have some of the equipment together. So hopefully, but the acoustics seem to be okay. Yeah, nothing's really bouncing. Again, I am near this window, so we'll work it out. We'll work it out. Oh, are you home? You didn't hit me up. You home? Did you make it back home? Because you were supposed to hit me up or text me or something like, damn, man, I made it. What was that? Leave me hanging. I wasn't thinking about you anyway, so, you know. I wasn't thinking about you anyway, man. But I'm glad you got to be home by now. I know you didn't have to work tonight. Did you have to work tonight too? You did all that flying and had to work? Did you have to work tonight? Hey, you at work? I don't know if I take that flight and go to work. It's like flying from New York to LA. Ooh, especially in the 80s. That was not fun. Planes don't look too much different, but I've flown on some of them old planes. Like, you know, I lived in Michigan, so sometime to go to Chicago, to O'Hare, they would fly me in a plane that had propellers. Not, you know, it had propellers. It was a propeller plane from probably World War II. And it looked like one of them old military planes. Like, if you can imagine old looking bus seats, that's what these plane seats look like. I mean, this was a plane definitely from World War II. It was definitely a 40s era plane. And it just went from, you know, Michigan to Chicago, just right across the river, right across, because actually it's pretty, once you hit Kalamazoo, you can go down the coast of Lake Michigan, you hit Saugatuck. People that take big boats. I mean, you take a fairly big boat on Lake Michigan, but when they want to go, they'll go like to Saugatuck, and then they'll shoot to Chicago that way. It's closest on a boat, but the planes use the same route. But that's a cool trip. I don't know if y'all ever did that. To take a boat from Michigan to Chicago is cool too. That is cool too. That is cool too. Yes, sir. I was on the moves and was going to hit you up. I just woke up from a nap. Like, damn, when I was at the store, I was going to call you. Got home and passed out. Okay, bet. Okay, but I'm joyful that you made it back, man. Glad you guys made it back. But yeah, it's hot here. It was hot. I mean, look all this tan I got. You can see all the way I'm tanned. Man, burned a little bit, but hey, that, you know what they say about that anti-sun and stuff? Sunscreen. Yeah, don't use that sunscreen, but you look that stuff up yourself. You see what's in that stuff. It's natural stuff you can use. Like I use Nivea face cream without the alcohol. It's just no drying alcohol. And that stuff really helps you tan. It's like for your skin, but makes you tan. Uh, hey, Don, thank you for joining me, man. You got back and y'all had a lot of catching up to do. I imagine you probably had some shopping to do, you know, all that kind of stuff. I can dig it. I can dig it. That's how my days would be like, trying to get all this stuff done and, you know, still do a little something, but work out. Like yesterday, I couldn't even work out. Didn't even get the time to work out. Today, got to work out though. And it felt good working out. Guess that's a way to try to physically and look, you know, and feel the age you are. Now I got out the pool. I tried to just power out. Yeah, I hurt my back doing that. I was feeling good, and you know, I was like, you know, you just. And then my daughter had the nerve to say, this is how you did it. She said, you pushed up on here, and she pretty much said that when I got out the pool, I kind of, you know how walruses will get on land and they just kind of roll around once they're on land, you know, or if they get on a little shelf of rock, they just kind of roll to get themselves on. That is what my little daughter showed everyone, and everyone did laugh. And so she kind of humiliated me in front of the crowd of about 6. But anyway, that still counts. But I sure definitely hurt my back. I felt when I got out there, I was like, oh. So I was like, ladder for the rest of the day. But I played in the water. I got to play in the water, kick, do all the workouts. Used to do great workouts. Yeah, I used to swim like a mug. I remember my freshman second semester freshman year, I had a swim class, and it was the old swim coach. I don't know. He had something to do with it, but he worked us out, and that was some of the best shape I was ever in my life. I mean, we were doing miles. We were doing miles, and it was like not long after that spring football started. So when spring football started, I was in great shape, could run, and so. But that pool, and the pool was like, it had to be 70 degrees when we went in it. You know how you, like today, even outside, it got 88, 89 here. You know, just to jump in the water, you know, at first it's still a little cold. Yeah, in that old gym, that water was like sauna. And do you know how hard it is to try to work out in the sauna? Because that hot water is kind of zapping your strength. But we was able to do it. He was a cool old dude, had us working out. Oh, and the Rib Fest is up here too. The powwow is in a month, but the Rib Fest is when I was leaving the pickleball, you know, because the pickleball court is on the reservation. So when I was leaving, I was seeing where, you know, they had extra lights going. I was trying to look at the stands, but yeah, going up in there, and it's live music. It's free, and you know, the ribs ain't free, you know, but the beer, you can buy all that stuff and just hang out. There's a lot of people up there. Shoot, when I was moving around, coming to where I am now, I saw fireworks. I was like driving. I was like, damn, fireworks. Okay, you know, fireworks. I'm not sure where well, the area, I want to say looked like Lakeville, like they was coming somewhere in Lakeville, but it was like real stuff, you know, not I mean, expensive fireworks, real expensive firework. Hey, Dr. Sinister, how you doing? Dr. Sinister. uh, Wait a minute. That precious little girl be trying to roast your ass. She cracks me up, and she sure loves her father. I love talking smack with my team. Yeah, she was the one talking about Winded. It wasn't Winded. Yeah, her. Yes, her. That one. Yes, little miss. Her. She swam. I know she's sleeping good tonight because she swam. I mean, we were there 2-3 hours. Beautiful day. You know, even though it was high 80s, and you know, up here it's high humidity. I mean, all this water's water everywhere. High humidity. You know, I live near a lake. Even here, we're off. What is this? Crystal Lake. It's a big lake. Well, not large, but it's a lake. I mean, it's a lake like. Well, actually, it's a lake closer. It's like 2 lakes around here, fairly big lakes. One lake you can walk around, but there's lakes around here. House that I'm trying to rent to just, you know, shoot some video through is around here, and so yeah, it's water everywhere. So it's humid up here. It's humid. I mean, my son and I told the story. My son and I arrived, and he's like, "Why you got the air on?" I was like, "Roll the windows down." So I turned the air off. He rolled the windows down. He's like, "Yeah, it's sticky." I was like, "You're damn right, it's sticky." It's sticky. But I didn't turn the air on today for the cats. They seem fine. I ain't had a fan on when I went back to the house. So cats are fine. As long as they have a lot of water. Mm. I'd probably relaxed you being in that water. In my parents' pool growing up, I'd go out and work out in the pool, and it felt like both water because of the solar pads. Oh yeah, yeah. You know, that was always one of the because when I first had my knee scoped, that was part of the therapy was to swim, and I had access to the pool. I was taking classes at the same time, so I had access to the pool, and so I was swimming for. I was trying to think because you know the thing about swimming is the problem with burning fat is you don't sweat when you swim, so you really have to narrow it down to a time period where you actually start burning fat and the kind of movements you're doing too with swimming. And so it was a good, I want to say, hour and 45 minutes. And I did this for a minute and to help me get my, you know, after having my knee scope for the first time. And so that was, so I never, you know, those kind of exercises and stuff, I never stopped doing. So anytime I get around some water, I've always like, before they closed our local Y, just doing that same kind of stuff. I would do the hot and cold. I'd go in the sauna, then go in the pool, then go back in the sauna. And so, but doing the same kind of kicks, the same. We had a little old wasn't a lazy Susan, but you know how you have the ones you can walk around, not the ones with the inner tube, but you know, the ones where you can just kind of float around with your body, you know. You can kind of get on your knees or just walk fast with it or go against the current. You know, there's a lot of ways you can go against it. They had one of those. So that was just another way of working out. So just positive. My daughter started mimicking me. My wife saved the old video of me uh, spitting game to her, and she called me mocking me. Yeah, maybe it's the lazy river, but it's the walking lazy river. Yeah, not the one with inner tubes. Yeah. Oh yeah. My daughter will be around folks and start like imitating me dancing. You know, everybody looking like, this is how my dad dance. And everybody laughing. And they call me, oh, your daughter's so funny. She was imitating you dancing. Nothing funny about the way I dance. So that's the first thing, you know, like, why are you calling me? You know what, you laughing about the way I dance? I want to go beat these people up, but, you know, you just can't go through life beating people up because they think the way your daughter imitating you dancing is funny. I don't think I should be offended by that, but you never know. I know disrespectful people. The muscles sure get a workout. I enjoy the low impact. I got to swim more often. Dancing is my favorite. Oh yeah, and I dance every day too. But yeah, just those kind of movements in the water and the resistance. It's really just good for you. As I said, I didn't realize all the strength in the water it took when I pushed myself out. You know, because again, you know, my shorts has got weight because they're wet. And so didn't consider that would strain my back a little bit, but I'm cool. I went and played pickleball afterwards. But it's still funny, things that I've struggled with, I still struggle with. Like I had bought the cat some food. I had to get water because like I didn't realize I had a full bottle of water in my bag, but I did. But I bought some more water and I bought cat food. And it's like, you know, just cat, I got hands. I mean, just the cans, it ain't nothing like the whole 3 cans is like this. You understand? And it's just like I still drop that kind of shit. I'm just holding the cans and like blooming. And I just watched this one can because I was buzzed. And I watched the one can. It fell out of my hand. It rolled like it rolled forever. And I was just sitting there watching it roll. And then I thought, well, if somebody slips on that can, they might think I'm liable. So I went out there and got it. But it was for a minute. I just watching that motherfucker roll at the store. It's like that. But my hands still aren't terribly strong. Uh, and I trip easy over shit. You know, my balance still sucks. My right leg is cool. Now my left. Don't balance well off my left leg at all. Not well enough. So she gets me with that too. She says, look what daddy be doing. Yeah, that's exactly right. Oh, the way I talk, everything. She picks it up so much. Our humor, you know, not just me, my son too. My son is my humor too, you know. It's like when my son and I talk, I've got to ration with the younger me, you know, in some ways. It's like I rationally with my younger self because he's the age where his reasoning is where my reasoning was at that age. I mean, that's just how he's picked it up. So it's and that frustrates his mother because his mother's like she's dealing with me. That's what it for her it feels like because he's hitting her the same kind of rationale I would hit her with. And she's like, it's like dealing with you. So it's like arguing with myself. uh, and she tells me she doesn't like the way I dress. And I'm like, I laugh at her. Because you know what I tell her? There's no other man that you see that dresses as well as I do. And that is a fact. So, all her mother's friends, none of them dress like me. So, I know that I am at least that. That's the cool thing about the end of summer. We get to wear clothes again because summer you ain't really wearing clothes. As I said, I work with a dude that I think he's probably a heroin addict. Every day he got a hoodie on. Now, granted, where we work at is air conditioned, but he wears, you know, the stoner stocking cap, but a hoodie every day. And we've been in the 90s 4 days out of 30. We've been in the 90s. No. Let me take that back. We've been in the 90s so that's out of 30 days, I think it was only 5 days we weren't in the 90s. And granted, we have air conditioning, but inside air conditioning, some air conditioners. Now I went Bath and Body the other day. They had the mobile air conditioners. It was feeling good in there. We went in Bath and Body at the outlet. Man, I want one of them. I like them little mobile air conditioners they had. It was cold in that place. Some of them other stores was comfortable, but that place was cold. I was like, ooh, I like that. Bath and Body Works. Tuck your ish, big body. I like the winter because I get to be more creative with my clothes. Oh, definitely. I came back home to humid 80, weather from 115. Ooh, 115 ain't nice, especially out there in the desert. Ooh. Yeah, it was 88, 89, I think, here today. Yeah, because it got hotter. I think when we went to the pool, it was 87, and I think it got warmer. It definitely got warmer when we were sitting there. So yeah, it was hot today, and it's gonna be hot tomorrow. We're not supposed to get rain till like Thursday, Friday. No, not even then. Like next Sunday. So we'll see. But yeah, I was looking at I'm gonna go. I said this before. You guys don't know what Red Wing boots are. They make those not far from where I live, down in Stillwater, but there's local stores, and I'm definitely getting a pair of them boots. They're costly, but they are so worth it. That is the one boot I'm getting. I'm getting them Red Wing boots, and they'll damn near make them boots for me. They are so comfortable, durable. But I'm going to get a pair of them. There's a store not far. The main factory is really not far. And our friend, she was talking about, this is funny. Y'all know that there's a Spam museum here in Minnesota. And I'll say that as a young, well, when my first wife, before we got married, we was living together, Spam was on what we got from the grocery. We got Spam. I got 4 or 5 pounds of hamburger. I got Spam. I got a can of tuna. I got some eggs. I got lunch meat, bread, mayonnaise, barbecue sauce. I said bread, right? That would be about what me and her would eat. Pancake mix, pancake, bacon, of course, sausage. And she would make salmon patties. Yeah, salmon patties. I don't know if y'all like them. You cut some onion up and cut some egg and you put that in there and you crumble some crackers and shit and you mix all that shit together and you fry them. I think you fry them or you bake them, whatever the fuck, I don't remember, but that shit was good. And that shit and we ate Spam weekly. I mean, maybe if I was out of lunch meat, I might have took Spam for lunch. Spam sandwich for lunch for the water department. I don't know. But that shit now tastes salty Susie. Woo, 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 salty. Hey, Monty Ray, what's happening? A rice fried Spam sandwich would do you right some nights. A nice fried Spam. Man, I don't know, that stuff was so salty. And I'll tell you what was the worst I used to love was what is them little Steakums? My second wife and I, we bought Steakums weekly, and I tried to eat some of that shit. Oh, that shit is just as salty. It was like eating that stuff. It was like eating Spam. So, but years ago, yeah, lived on that stuff, no doubt. Lived on that stuff. My ex-wife cooked macaroni and cheese like every night for years, and I just didn't catch on that every night we fucking had macaroni and cheese. It's pretty much, my mother makes homemade macaroni and cheese. That's about the only time I eat that shit. Other than that, I will never eat macaroni and cheese because of her. I mean, for years, every meal had macaroni and cheese. And I never paid attention. And I think one day I just, She brought out the macaroni and cheese, and I think I did the dramatic throw the plate at the wall. Like, God damn, why do you keep selling me, or keep serving me goddamn macaroni and cheese? I don't think she thought about it, but it's like she liked macaroni and cheese, I guess. Because we had that shit every night. So you didn't hit her. Could have thrown the macaroni and cheese on her, I guess. Now, not trying to laugh, but they supposedly showed some young ladies being thrown hot water on them. And you remember they said that Al Green had hot grits, like he was cheating. And so his girl found out that he was cheating, and she came home and there's some grits, warmed up, and she supposedly threw the hot grits on him and burned him. Hell of a way to wake up. This shit start hitting you and the shit start burning, because it takes a couple seconds before the heat comes in there. You get hit with something, it's gonna be a second before it's heated. Feel it. I'll be making salmon patties out of salmon fillets. Yeah, oh yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, I like salmon. Damn, you did that. Moved. Oh yeah, I was mad, man. I finally had enough. I threw the plate against my wallpaper. Not like I didn't have to clean the shit up. She wasn't gonna clean that shit up. She left it there. She just stubborn, like she was very passive, but in that stubborn way, she'd have never cleaned that shit up. She's like, yo, dumbass, through there, that shit, you picked that shit up. She might have picked up the glass, but she wouldn't have picked up the food. She was it was a weird kind of stubborn, like, fuck you, dumbass. You want to ruin our shit? I'm not cleaning up after you in that regard. Every other regard she would, but stupid shit like that, she's like, dumb motherfucker. But I did defend her, my son, when he was a little boy, being very disrespectful. And she was like, this little motherfucker is being disrespectful all the time. He's around me. When he's around you, he acts right. But I'm just telling you, I can't take it anymore. He's just so disrespectful. So I've just, it made me watch him. We were sitting there, and even though I'm sitting there, and this is funny how people are, and you can look at this, where people forget themselves. So my son really at that age would act differently around me, and around me and her compared to just her. He would push the limits with her, and it got to a point where he was so used to pushing the limits with her, he forgot I was standing. He forgot I was sitting there, because she had asked him some shit, and he got smart with his mom. And I was like, this is the shit you're talking about? I'm like, oh shit. So I literally took this boy from a bar stool by the throat to the floor. Boom! And Brennan, my other son, was sitting there. I'm like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And I did it so fast where he didn't really realize what happened to him until he hit the ground. I'd done it so fast because we were sitting next to each other. I just snatched this mug, and I snatched him so quick where he really didn't realize what happened to him until he fell down. Until he was on the ground. And by then, I'm on his ass. What is wrong with you? Why are you so disrespectful for this woman that'll do anything for you? What, you lost yourself? He's like, by then he started crying and stuff, probably knocked the wind out of him. You may say, well, that was child. No, that was what was necessary to make him be respectful to her. Because after that, she didn't have any problems with him. Now, he went to school and gave everybody else hell. And he probably got a spanking or two after that. But for the most part, that disrespectful shit that he was doing before, he never showed that after that, even today. So, Drink of Champs today. Patti LaBelle was on, and Nori asked her about Al Green grit stories. As a kid, he was scared to eat grits. Interesting. Oh man, she's got all this stuff shot up in her face. And I don't know. I don't find women that have that stuff shot up in their face. I do not find that attractive. Wow, even the ones that have all that extra plastic surgery, but when they shoot that stuff in their face, it's like it's no way. I don't know. Do they look in the mirror to see that stuff? Because I know like there's a woman that lives around me that I see her and it's like, no way, no way. It's just that stuff in her face. And I guess you shouldn't judge a person, but that looks so unnatural, so unattractive, so unhuman. Now, I understand the people that use Botox for headaches, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't find that attractive. I think the old days when they would nip and tuck their stuff looked somewhat better than just taking all them shots to the face and there's no wrinkles. And you 47, 48, 50, and there's no wrinkles. Now, come on. That's not natural. I don't find that attractive. Maybe other people do. I like when people look their age. My middle son talking shit to me when he was a teenager. My oldest son looked at me and then looked at him. He saw a facial expression. He said, "Boy, you better shut up." There you go. Boy, you better shut up. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get all that. I don't find that attractive at all. And it's a pretty girl from my hometown. I mean, she was pretty all her life. She didn't have to do anything. And she always had issues. Sisters always had issues with her hair, processing your hair after years and years. It just eats your hair up. I mean, it's just no way to get around it. You had a certain grade of hair and you processed your hair for years. It eats your hair up. Sisters, it's hard to get away from all that hair, the destruction of your hair. You're taught from a very young age, and I'm not talking about too many generations from me, to destroy your hair through time. You know, straightening your hair is in ways destroying it. So that's different. You do your hair any kind of way you need to do your hair, but a lot of the women that do all that heavy Botox stuff, and this girl particularly, I mean, it just. And then there's one woman I know that blew her lips up. I mean, she was pretty perfect. It's funny where this girl was pretty perfect just looking at her. She was a perfect young woman. I knew her sister, the family, and so just friends, but just see what she did to herself by blowing her lips up. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I don't know. I guess to each his own beauty. I mean, if a woman feels she get them shots in her face and ain't no wrinkles and her face is just sit still, and you think you feel beautiful, that's what it's about. I understand that. That's what it's about. You should feel good. You did it. You paid for it. You took the pain. But there's a beauty about growing old. And as I've said many times, there is a consciousness out there not to let children go hungry for the most part. Children really don't have to go hungry for the most part. There's lunches provided and breakfasts available pretty much programs in the summers. Now, things are, back. So there's not far from me lunches, I'm sure. So children pretty much, but old people, nobody really cares about old people. Old people that, I mean, now they've even taken away something that I've had this argument, and you look out for your older relatives because right now they've passed something where they can take pensions away. Now, in most cases, pensions is money you put in. Now, there are some pensions that were set up, they match. Now, I question that again. Are they going after what they match? I don't know. But I heard a union brother talk about on the news where they're taking some of his pension. So, and the government decided with these factories before. General Motors was saying they was paying $1 billion because they negotiated to pay for life all these baby boomers medical. That was part of their retirement settlement. And they cried to the government that, they had to pay $1 billion, not just in cash for retirement, but also had to pay their medical. And the government sided with General Motors and they let them break the contract. Let them break the contract. It was a contract. The government let them break it. You see them Euros with that Botox later, they look like cartoon characters. I mean, I know it's a little older, but like Little Kim, you know, wearing the bodysuit. She had the body pants on. It was obvious she had the body pants on. I'm really not going to speak of, oh, Neo. Yeah. Neo released some new music that's kind of nice today. I heard some Neo. They've been playing that Neo. Yeah, I got serious and they played a couple of new Neo records. I always liked Neo. So he's got some new music that was worth listening to. You know, I like, you know, smooth R&B. I like jazz, smooth R&B. You know, sometimes I don't mind some of the, you know, the hip hop music. Definitely like the older stuff. I can listen to the older stuff all day. I can listen to 5 minutes of folk, you know, all day. They call me Mr. Magic. I can listen to that all day. And you're not even getting to the visuals. Like these guys release some of this music and the visuals they put out there. It's just like wow. And I guess this is the part I hit with the illusion of wealth, because when a person, you know, bows down or bends down, um, there wasn't always necessarily, you know, you had to kill them once they bowed down, or you necessarily didn't have to humiliate them. A lot of times, by them kissing your ring, you know, you see, you know, Italians kiss my ring. By you bowing down like that, you can get rewarded too. And so this illusion of wealth that we see, you know, with some of this entertainment comes from that as well. They're getting, because they bowed down, they're getting paid to bow down, if you understand that kind of thing. So, and they've been doing that for years. But we see that also, and which is put into the illusion of wealth as well. But in America, and I'll say this, you know, I love this country. I guess, you know, a lot of ways fortunate to be born in these times. A lot of ways I feel unfortunate to be born in these times. I've never said anything that can be looked at or seen as anti-American. I mean, may be anti some of the politics that go around. I may be anti some of the uh, history for sure. But funny you brought up Houdini. Oh my goodness, I still, you know, play that. Call me Mr. Magic and Houdini, 5 minutes of funk. Oh my goodness, just in the morning, just going back and forth for those turntables. I was like, got up and smoked a joint or hit my bong, probably one of my plastic bongs, and was probably up all night too, drinking and motherfuckers over it. And next morning got up, smoked me a bong, and them turntables will sit right there. And I put the turntables on. Girls sleeping upstairs, got the neighbors, they just don't give a fuck. Music loud, that's just how it is. And open my front door and just start playing that music. And I'm just into that shit. I'm high and shit, probably smoking a joint or hit another bong as I'm going. I'm blending the tape with the turntables, you know. Just having fun and just look out my window, all these children just dancing. You know, I know I've mentioned that, but it's just one of my most joyful feelings of what our people are. You know, here I gave, you know, some of my expertise of just spinning the music, but these younger children were still able to relate and dance despite the style I was playing. Because, you know, I was putting some Jimi Hendrix in there. I was just throwing it all. And yet they found a way to jam to what I was playing, you know. This discography in the first album has the Mr. Magic joint on it. Yeah, you know, I want to say in the summer of '80, the Freaks came out at night. That was pretty big. Um, I want to say it might have came out in '80 of June, but maybe May, April, May of '80. Seemed like that summer. Seemed like the end of school that summer when the Freaks came out at night. Because I stayed in. I want to say I stayed down there. I didn't go back home that summer. So, but 5 minutes of funk was always. I mean that. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, I always loved just the just their flow too. I really like their style of flow. It's like my other group, my favorite group is Camp Low. I've always liked their kind of style of flow, especially when they were younger. They're older now and they sound different. Which of course we get older, we sound different. But at one time, Camp Low really had, to me, one of the best type of flows. I still arguably, and I know Sly probably disagrees, but I still would arguably say that This Is It, Camp Low, is probably one of the best produced songs that I've ever heard, as far as the whole production, especially if you look in the hip hop genre. I thought that that was one of the greatest songs ever produced. I really would put that song up with a lot of others. And they showed me the group that they got the beat from. Somebody who watched my show, and I have some of their music where they got that beat from on This Is It. Lucini Falls from the Sky. But just the overall production at the peak of hip hop, I thought no one had done it better. At that time, I still, at judging that at other songs production wise, now I'm not saying popularity, best video, I'm saying the song as a totally done song, perfectly done. And again, perfectly imperfect, but it hit everything in my opinion. It was definitely a dance song, but it hit everything that I love about music. So I mess with their sound. Oh, that whole album that has the Marvin Gaye, their version of Marvin Gaye, where they put themselves in the Marvin Gaye scene. I want the Ernie Barnes painting. They put themselves at that album. Every song, literally every song, killing them softly. Making 40 thieves. Yeah, try to think of the other one. But that whole album, those songs I listen to almost daily too. Still try to think. What was the other one on there? Coolie High. Coolie High is another one. And they be talking about Sonny Chiba. Y'all remember who Sonny Chiba is? Sonny Chiba was another word for weed, but it also was a martial artist. When Bruce Lee died, Sonny Chiba had a much older career, or much longer career than Bruce Lee. A lot of stuff for Sonny Chivas was dubbed before he actually was speaking. But Sonny Chiba, by the time the color stuff came in, but all you karate heads out there, anyone, I still have not had one person name the movie I saw, and I thought it was Sonny Chiba, but it wasn't. And it was literally a small army of dudes, I think 6 to 12, maybe 30 dudes at the most. And these dudes killed, like they show who they fought. They are fighting thousands. And these dudes literally, I can't remember how many it is of these guys. But these dudes literally, they show them killing all these people as they fighting them. Like they're fighting them. And after they beat these dudes, like they show you where they started. And then they're like some far here where they just killed all these dudes with swords and stuff. And then they look back and you just see all these dead people that these dudes had killed. And it wasn't that many of them. I can't tell you the name of that movie because I only saw it one time. But I just remember I was just watching this stuff, and these dudes, it wasn't that many of them, but it was like, almost like a lawnmower cutting grass. The way they filmed it was beautiful because they were literally just wiping out pockets of people, as they was moving out. So I thought that was interesting back in the day. Geechee Sway from Camp Low and Jay-Z had the same producer around the same time. Jay-Z came out and he said Jay-Z bit them on one of the hit songs, was Reason About Doubt. Okay. Trying to think my other favorite song there. I'm kind of old manning right now. I just, I found another one. Living the something, one of their newer like songs. So still, it's funny listening to their voices. So obviously, their voices change. And it's interesting, seeing that the generation of middle 40s and 50-year-old dudes that still rap. Who was it I found as old as me? I was trying to think. Who was it? Entertainer. Because Ice Cube is older than me. Or no, excuse me, Ice-T. Ice-T 65, 66. He's older than me. Or 64, 65. He's somewhere, but he's older than me. It was somebody else I heard that was older than me. I was surprised. I didn't know he was older than me. Or old as me. One of the other ones. But Oh, she said she wanted me. Okay, my friend wanted me to bring up about Iceberg Slim and how much of that was stories and how much of that was real life. Because it's interesting when they interview him. When they interview him, he's in a leather chair, and the leather chair is tore up. Now his clothes are good clothes. He's what he's wearing. He's fresh. His clothes is good clothes, but the chair got a. I don't even remember this kind of tape. It looked like the type of tape where maybe when the old type of what did you call it? Paneling, the old type of paneling. You know, the kind maybe something you broke some of the paneling, so you put it looked like that kind of tape, but they had put that on the leather chair. So it's like a paneling look on the leather chair where they taped it. It's like, oh man, Iceberg is what happened to all the book sales, baby? You know, I don't know. And there's people that have broke him down. But who was the San Francisco pimp? It was the San Francisco pimp that used that same name. Um, I've seen him interviewed, and I can't think of what his real name is, but but Too Short a lot of times is referring to that dude as much as he's referring to this dude. So. And then, I get that mixed up with Donald Goines' work. Donald Goines, did some books out of Detroit. And I'm pretty sure Donald Goines is related to me because we related to Goines too. And I have to think about the books he wrote. But you can look up Donald Goines. He wrote some books that, there's a couple of movies wrote from some of his books. But he was a hustler, heroin addict, didn't change him just because he wrote some books that was kind of had fairly, acclaim. Didn't change him for hustling. Didn't change him from being a heroin addict. As I said before, there's functional heroin addicts in the 60s and 70s. A lot of functioning heroin addicts. It wasn't just a heroin addict just laying there. No, it was people using heroin. That was just like motherfuckers smoke cigarettes, motherfuckers drink. And I know that's kind of hard for people to understand, but this is what the culture was. And not to say it was more acceptable, I would say it was cheaper. And again, since people have wised up about cocaine, you see what they did. People quit doing cocaine. People's like, this crack is fucking everybody up. People stopped doing it. People didn't want powder. People didn't want it anymore. And what comes next? They start pushing heroin again. Isn't that funny? People wised up and was smart and didn't want cocaine anymore. Well, they did crystal meth, a cheap cocaine, basically. Lasts longer, but cheap. Give you that same kind of euphoria. Tear your body up worse, but they brought heroin back in. They had a nostalgia flow that was still dope. But just production-wise, I love them production. As producers, I think they do a hell of a job of producing. I really do. I think they do a hell of a job of producing. And just, I just love music. I love everybody but Anita Baker. You don't go around shaming me twice and think I'm going to love you, even though Angel is probably my favorite song of all time. I just don't like the person who sings Angel. So every time I hear Angel, I just visualize me grabbing that little old lady and just shaking her like this. Like you can't just embarrass me 30 years ago and think I'm just going to forget about it because I love your song. That's what I would do to Anita Baker. I'd pick her up and just shake her like, you embarrassed me not once but twice. So obviously you knew who I was and you embarrassed me even though you knew who I was. I don't forget that. I'm like an elephant. I don't forget being humiliated by the same person in public. So I have fairly thick skin, but even though I do love your song. Oh, yeah, Angel. I heard somebody else singing their song the other day. I was like, oh, I love Angel so much. I love Anita Baker. Even though I will pick her up and shake her one day. You guys, I'm going to put her on camera. I'm going to pick Anita, because Anita Baker little. I'm going to pick her up and shake her like this. So I don't think her bodyguards could beat my bodyguards. Oh, I got to show you guys my bodyguards. You seen my son. You guys ain't seen Big Mike. So Big Mike's another one of my bodyguards. He's bigger than my son. He's big. Big Mike is big. And Roni. We're going to bring Roni back from North Carolina. So I'm going to have some tight people around me that'll beat people up for me. So beware. You guys want to deal with me, beware. I'm going to have the prime, and my son being with me looks natural. Big Mike looked like he could, no, he's not as handsome as my children, but he's still Big Mike. So, but he's not. You wouldn't look at Big Mike and think he was related to me because he's just not handsome enough. Even though we love Big Mike, he's just not handsome like my children are handsome. You guys have seen a couple of my children. So you'd look at him and not think he would be anything that would come from me. You get it? All my children are very handsome people. And Big Mike is just not one of those. And Big Mike thinks he is going to Nigeria. He is going to his dad. He's going to Nigeria with his dad. It's not going to be a fun plane ride being Big Mike. Big Mike is 6'6", 290. So not a little guy. I felt sorry for him to sit in the back. I thought my son was going to be, nice and my son is 6'6.5". So, and I worried about my suspension. Big Mike's a big guy sitting in the back of my car. It's a lot of weight on one side. That's like, between the two of them, that's like 500 pounds on one side. You remember how my old Lincoln, I remember I went to Cleveland and one of my air rides fell. And it'd make your car do like this. Normally your car would be like that. And yeah, that air ride would fall. Or you ever seen somebody air ride fall in the back and the car be like this? Or the opposite? Well, I had to drive back from Cleveland back to Battle Creek with sideways because one of my air rides done fell on the trip. I had to make it back. You wouldn't think the car would still go, but it still went. It just cockeyed driving. I wonder what kind of gas mileage I got. Okay. The producer of Ski did their beats. Okay. I'm gonna have to look into him a little more. I got paper. I don't have really much stories to tell, but I got paper. Ooh, I'll write that down. Make a note. What are we? 7:31? Yeah. Yeah, that's worth looking up. I got a whole lot going on in the world that I really waste my time with. I was trying to find messing around with this book, trying to find the funniest story. And it's not this funny, but somewhere in here, the way he puts it, the way to truly understand how, what Fred Hampton said, it's the same thing. You can kill the revolutionary, but you can't really kill the revolution. And that's kind of what the idea of the laughing Jesus is. They think they're killing something by eliminating the person, but it's like it's more than just that person. And in some ways, I could say, it's always looked as martyrism, but it's a different kind of martyrism. It's saying that despite that, the thing will still go on, despite that, where it's not as celebrated. The coming back and all that, it didn't matter because it what you thought was killed, it went on anyway. So there's no need for it to resurrect because it never really died, if you understand that kind of thinking. And that's what goes into it. And I'll say that just as a simple book, and I don't agree with everything, again, discernment, but a lot of these, like what he says, one of these great kind of, and I don't think it's really hypnotizing yourself, but suggestions in this book is to see if this reality is real or not. You can do a couple of things. You can actually stare at your shadow and you'll start kind of seeing a reality kind of shift as you just really concentrate on your shadow. You really start to see a reality shift. The one that I tell people to do that's easier. If you can stare at yourself in the mirror, you would literally see the disfigure. Your face would disfigure while you're looking at it. I mean, when you get a deep enough connection of looking at yourself in the mirror, you really are totally into this reflection, you'll start seeing it almost like dissolving, like your face almost dissolves. And he has a couple of those kind of exercises in here. And it's just some things like this. You are dual in the nature. You appear to be a person, but essentially your awareness. Living lucidly is adopting a both perspective in which you are conscious of both your apparent nature and your essential nature. As awareness, you are a spacious emptiness which contains a world. You are a timeless presence which witnesses the flow of experience we call time. Life is like a dream in which one awareness is becoming conscious through infinitely various forms. We are unconsciously one and consciously many. Gnosis is becoming conscious that all is essentially one. Again, Gnosticism. Well, I guess you could look at that as going into source, that all is one source or the same. You have to be part of, even if Yadabath and the mind control this reality. In some ways, we would have each of their essence. Like if it was just a running program, the program would still be kickstarted by both of them. So we would some ways have whatever they have, we would be passed. That would be passed down to us. Awakening to oneness is experience of big love. Knowing you are one with all, you find yourself in love with all. And that's not negative. The purpose of life is to love being in the moment. Yeah, the moment is all we have. When you're driven solely by other desires, you miss the point and become engrossed in the life dream. You live more in illusion. You're wanting to be more in illusion into who you truly are. The fables which keep you unconscious in the life dream and are your qualities which have become distorted because you presume yourself to be isolated individual. There you are, not part of source. The way to love appearing to be a person is to become conscious of your impersonal, essential nature as awareness. Lucid living is a state of enlivenment. It is loving being human. And I would add, loving and having passion for other humans. Hey, Soap, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. I had the air ride. My navigator failed and rode. Let me see. What'd you say? It rode like a low rider down the street. Yeah. And Continentals were the worst. Like Marks and Continentals was the worst because town cars only had them in the back, but Continentals had them all the way around. And a lot of people would get in those Continentals and take that stuff out. But my Mark, I think I had a Mark 8. My Mark 8 had it had that in there. And the first winter I had that Mark 8, it was a great rain car. Didn't really fishtail in the rain because I drove it back and forth a bunch of times from Michigan to through Michigan to Minnesota. And so that car did great in the rain. Shit, first time it hit snow, woo, like the Mustangs, all that torque in the back. It's like, yeah, I went and got another Taurus. I traded that car. That car was like a 90. Must have been 97. I traded that car for a 97 Taurus. Same paint job I got now. Same that metallic Ford, where my car, you clean it, it looks gold. It has that gold kind of fleck in it. That's Ford. My other car had the same thing. So, you're into synchronism? I can't. Also, what is your definition of the ether? Okay, those are good questions. I'll give the best answer that I can honestly quantifying. I don't need to quantify. Timing is everything. Now, my friend Christina Garcia, she's really into every time she gets into seeing the 1111s. And pickleball is a point where you tell those kind of numbers, and she's always to her those type of things are kind of sent kind of reminders or lucky, that falls under that. But if you really look at timing in this reality, it's everything. that is, you know, to understand the essence of Hanukkah and understand the essence of what the time walkers have given to us, just as much as they want to rob you of our time, you can do the same thing back to them. You can take extra time. Far as timing of doing things, being at the right place at the right time, I mean, that is how it really works. And are there ways that you can enhance that? Yes, absolutely. That's what I say about driving, that energy of driving, of all the way this program works, that is one program that is the easiest to connect to and really see how to navigate through this thing. And it's the same thing with that. Timing on everything you do, your business, your launch, that's the key. Is having everything, and I guess the next question would come is, how do you enhance that? That goes with the way you raise your vibration, the way you look at the all, the way you look at the moment, and the way you paint the next picture. Because just as you're living in the moment, you are also painting the next picture. And I say that, you know, the next picture painted with the least amount of illusion, accepting in it, is the way to be the most popular, I think. Not popular, but the way to be the most successful. So that's part of it. I do want to answer your other question, though. The other question was kind of cool. What is your definition of the ether? I'll say this. It's as far as what I deal with, that would actually be three different things. My definition of the ethers is when I first lay down and I start to meditate, that is in the ethers. That is in the ethers. However, as I go further into my meditation, I can turn it into more. Be it I hit a vibration of the time walkers, be I hit the czar. And I'll say this, that czar consciousness, and I'm changing the subject a little bit, but that czar consciousness, it seems to, as I was saying, when you deal with a generator and you are dealing with all these 8 different kind of realities at once, it is very crowded. But that czar consciousness, it seems to part away. It seems to truly part away. It seems to where spaces is full, that czar stuff parts that. So, but it is the easiest thing for us to connect to. I would say it is the easiest way to get people to get the first type of experiences with their third eye, first eye, whatever you want to call it. This is the first ways you start opening it. You go way past that, but at first you have to understand. As I've said before, to me, the easiest way to tell people to how to really experience this is to understand that the golden rule or the golden mean, it is in that. As people try to explain the source, trying to say the source, you know, being through string theory, but the source resonating through string theory out to everything. You see the golden ratio. It really, in the ethers, you can catch this, where it really rotates like this. As I said before, if you don't think this is important, and what is it, the Gods movie that came on, when all the gods met in Minnesota at this Ferris wheel that I think is actually underground, they showed the same thing. American Gods. Remember, when all the gods, the first time you see all the gods meet, they get on this Ferris wheel. And that's what they're trying to show you. That's the golden ratio. And even before that scene, I've talked about this is a way to show you where you kind of are. And you go way above this, because you don't want to spin. And that's why I say, you know, alcohol and meditating, alcohol tends to want you to spin. Same way driving, you know, the driving, clover leaves, it's that kind of energy. So for me, it's the easiest it's the first experience that people could experience at the first level. I guess that's the simplest way to put it. Not long ago, you spoke on while meditating, you can follow the vision and move it to the center of something like that. I did recently, and it worked. Yeah, at first I pop it. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, because what happens is different kind of scenes start coming out, and if you're clear with this scene, and I think it's the practice that Bomber kind of helped me with. It's like you don't have to accept that it's here, because a lot of times you'll be in even though you move your head, it's really you don't move your head, because it's just like you change your consciousness to here. And I know we think we move our head, but there's no back. It's everything is just one. You know, when you're in there, there's no back, no sides. It's all just one. And yeah, it'll like kind of want you to lock here, and you can just like, okay, I'm not going to do that. I want it here, because you, again, it's like driving. You want to be in the center lane. You want everything centered here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because things would chase you just like up here, you know, especially when your crown. It's interesting. Your crown would be taken off, and you would do like this, because you'll feel your crown just. And the first thing you would do is look up when you get that feeling where your crown, you're feeling these little tingles like this. You're really feeling where it's like somebody's tickling you like this, and then you'll feel like you just feel something bust through, and you can't help but turn your head like you're really looking at something, but it's all through the ethers. You know, it's all through, you know, another type of your understanding. But it's really funny how your head will really get to doing like this, feeling like this, when you're really doing crown stuff. It's like somebody's tickling you up here. And then when you feel that bust through period, it's like, whoa. And you just like, whoa, what was that? And even if you don't open your eyes, you still, and that's the way to follow it. Your eyes closed, you'll be like, you'll see that energy just soaring up above you. So I'm glad it worked. How long have I been going? Okay, I'm gonna go a little longer, not too much longer, because I gotta greet this young boy in the morning. Driving long way from where I gotta drive him, but not too bad. Not too bad. Get it done. Yeah, get it done. That's all. That's all. I don't know. I might cut it. Yeah, I've been going an hour and a half. Yeah, might go just a little longer. Um, I can give a little more off of. Let me see if I can find a definition. Yeah, this book doesn't have the definitions and I don't know. I just like when I grab certain information that I like near me. You know, there's certain things that I take and want to. Wow. Yeah. Hmm. I wonder if I can explain this. Hmm. This might be kind of hard to explain though. I'll show the fractal. I don't know if I can quite explain it. But you have Hanukkah, you know, the one giver of movement and measure. But you also are having what he calls the four talons and spio passed between world systems. And so you see how it's, you know, it's not necessarily the one-eyed kind of thing, but it's just showing you consciousness, you know. Again, we're going the cardinal directions. And as I always say, behind you, you see the soul. You know, it's the wave harmonic. That's the closest thing you'll see, you know, to what our souls are as a visual. In the binary, you know, it's pumping the binary out, and the binary is showing you how they're getting all the movement. Which turns it into some pretty deep stuff. This guy got it. I mean, he kind of got it. Man, I was. I noticed I was sniffling a lot last night, so I had to listen to my replay, and I'm like, wow. And then looking at my Flonase been empty. I'm just doing this shit, ain't shit in it. I'm thinking I'm getting shit, I ain't getting shit. So please forgive me for all the snuffing. The energy moves through many different mediums, You know, I've done divination with cards for a long time. I did it on my other channel before it was canceled. You know, I've done, I think, 3 different sets. And your family into spirituality? My son so much, but you know, my brother was just in here. My brother's channel is Thought, Merlin, and Serpent. He's a way better researcher than I am. I mean, probably way better read than I am. I mean, I may have more college than him, but far as occult work and spiritual work, far more read than I am. I mean, he has thousands of ebooks and he goes through this stuff. And so yeah, lucky that I have him. Lucky that I have the researcher that he is. And he gives me inspiration. I'd be like getting tired of books. He's like, man, you got to read the book, read it all, because you might miss something. It might be, and it's right. It's sometimes you read a book and it might be a paragraph and you done read 300-400 pages. And that one paragraph, like, oh, I done caught him again. I mean, it really is that beautiful. And I can hear him saying that, you know, the thing puts that out there for you. Just say that was the only part that was important. No, I mean, if you are a researcher, you see and you do enough research, when you get those little kind of things, you see that they're very helpful, very helpful. So it's like, okay, it was worth reading this book. Now we know some of the other, some of the other facts. This is added to it. Yeah. So I'm going to give one of the Mayan cards. I want to say this is the ruler. I've said before, you know, what he's carrying. That picture I have of the great Pakal, you know, Starface flower. He's holding this. This is what the rulers carried. I'm just going to have fun with this. This is card 4. And just doing a little short reading. Realization, knowledge, benefits, compassion, and stability. It's sight. You know, you get insight from the ruler. And the person that put this together he gives a greater insight. And so I will share that insight. So for number 4 is also called Abigal, is number 4. A young girl, spectacularly dressed person is depicted standing erect in front of a dais, on which his left sits the consort and to his right sits the priest. He holds in his cupped hand the Mayan bar of authority, the Mexamili. His helmet is a mask. Helmet is a mask upon which a golden cup distills brilliant green feathers. He wears a backpack of green and rose wings bearing various complex designs. Around his waist, an elaborate belt, which is like a saucer, has 2 masks hanging from it. Behind him hangs a jaguar skin, which is again from the Omen. And behind that is left weird leading edge of the rising sun. The ruler is the beginning, the action, the completion, the result. Like the consort, 3, he represents creation, but by power and will rather than by feeling and love. The ruler is the completed parent. He has been balanced. The card is the father, mother, represents self-mastery, realization, action, compassion, stability. It is a card of leadership in all aspects. The ruler is the 4 elements. He is the 4 seasons. He is north, south, east, and west. He is the square of all creation. To achieve his understanding, the ruler had to pass through the 4 levels of being and unite them in a way that was practical and expedient for the work which he has undertaken to do. To achieve his version, his past was burned away. To achieve his ability to act, his death had to become his advisor. His emotions are contained in the cup of his heart and do not flow from where they will. He is the master of his life and knows nothing about it. And the meaning is, the fool sees that the ruler is aware of all aspects of his being at all times. The fool sees that the ruler is aware of all aspects of his being at all times. The ruler is free of conditional responses, no longer reacts to the stimulus of the opposites. He is not governed by their pull. There's no division, no unconscious to the ruler's mind, no hidden part, nothing suppressed. He sees what it is, not what he wants. He holds nothing, and so he has nothing to lose. He has no hopes. He will not be disappointed. The aspect of the ruler is that interest. The fool is that the ruler acts and does not react. He is constructive at every moment as circumstances allow him to be. A reaction, he is remembered response based upon the results of past action. The ruler's past is burned away. He has been reborn, that is, reborn again, not born again of woman, but born of his own being, by his own actions. The ruler has integrated within his personality all contradiction. He sees the purpose of fear and does not avoid it, nor does he build into his psyche in any matter. All fear is the same. Fear of being eaten by the jaguar is not internalized as fear of being humiliated. He sees that there is no place within the mind for fear. So anyone that resonates with, feels that they are the ruler and the ruler is their time, I give you that. Let me see if I can remember more, because so again, give out the consciousness of transformation. Give out this fractal. No one else is giving this out. They talk about foundational America. This gets no more foundational than this. This is the first spirituality that was pushed across these lands. Not just down there in Veracruz, all across the land. The idea of the transformation is all across. And the idea of the hero twins was played from here all up to Alaska, on to the islands. They had one version of the hero twins games, if not many. So this is what is over the Americas. See, the Greeks wanted to commit to be over all the Greeks. The Romans wanted the Greek stuff to be all over them. And you had others that just kept copying and wanted to represent. You had Hitler trying to copy the Romans again. And Asiatics. Aryan is Asiatic. You can't get away from that. It is Asiatic. It is not European. It is Asiatic. Aryan. Look where it comes from. This is the American transformation. This is our spirituality. This is the gift that the land gives us. So I give it to you. And those of you that get to go in the comfort of your beds, or the spiritual name for them, which are our creation ball fields. So we take back the trick. What do they call it? The agreeable dying. You know, sleeping is called the agreeable dying. We agreed to do it. It's the agreeable dying. So, you know, if you're about to go into the agreeable dying, well, we reverse that. We say as you're about to lay down into your creation ball field. It's the same thing. You're about to go in the most comfortable places that you think you can go to just relax. It regenerates you, because that's what the ball field is all about. It's regeneration. It moves. And may you feel safe. May you have to not go out of your way to feel protected, because everything that you've created is the magic that works for you. You just have to believe in what you've done. You don't need any outside source. What you've done is enough. So stop letting these things attack you that you have protection from. You just got to realize that you have these protections, and what you've got around you is supposed to do that work for you. But you do got to turn it on. Turn it on. From there, move ahead. Yeah. I'm hearing a funny angle right here. God, I'm like, I tell you, this area I live in is sacred land, and like right where I'm at is not disrespectful land, but it's pretty much the pathway. There's some holy land not far from where I'm sitting. Actually, there was a camp. There used to be a beer company called Black Dog. Black Dog was actually a chief. His where he camped out is not far from this area. But near the small lake I was telling you is where the holy area is. But this was the path going to that holy area. But there's a lot of spiritual area, a lot of spiritual energy in this area. So this is a place where some ancestors actually moved across before the Europeans came, before they were disturbed. So I want to throw that in there. But yeah, feel protected, feel loved, and know that you have enough. And those of you that are working right now, may you work safely the rest of your time. May you arrive home safely. May you get the required rest that you need. Oh, that was some sore stuff. Oh my goodness, why did my leg hurt so bad? That wasn't good. So let me see. Mora, it all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland, yet they knew that they had an exact number of years and days as a culture and a lifestyle before they would disappear as a culture and a lifestyle. But despite that, they would build a civilization into a gentle love, which lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent. And as the Mayans would say, I am another yourself. So please look at me in that way, as being another yourself. Yeah. So that's it. This is the Chocolate Mountain Show. Thank you for joining me. I mean, really, it's thank you for joining me. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for hanging with me. Yeah, I'm still amazed and still joyful that the people that do watch my stuff. I have no expectations. I don't really cry. I mean, I notice what they've done in some ways, but crying about it don't help. This is their business. So they can give you 10,000 subscribers, or they can take 10,000 subscribers away. So this is their business. So why cry about it? The moment we go on, we accept whatever. Whatever they have done, we accept it. So it's no use crying about it. This is the game. This is their game. So, but we know other games are coming into their own. So, and I think we are. Heed. What did they used to say? Heed the word of the brother. Heed the word of the brother. I think that says it. Heed the word of the brother. Yeah. I've never come on here begging people for anything. Definitely haven't tried to mislead. Now, some fact I got wrong, yeah, okay. I do think they changed things. That Magic Johnson, and when Andre was born, there's no way. There's no way in the world I would know Andre being born after 1979. There's no way. Someone would have told me when I was living in Greensboro that Magic didn't have a baby. I would not have known that. I was not. So they what they show is not what I lived. That boy was born in the late 80s. That boy was born in the late 70s. He was born when Magic was in 10th or 11th grade. Positive. Positive. So that had to be 74. No, he graduated in 77. So yeah, 74, 75, 76. Somewhere in there. Somewhere in there, that boy was born. I would not have known about it any other way. After that, no one would have ever. I lived in Greensboro for 7 years. I did go back and swerve, but there's no way I would have known about it. Like, especially when Magic moved to LA, how would I know about that? No way. So they changed that. I'm positive of that. That has been changed. But other things. And I didn't harp tonight on what does it mean to me. Didn't harp on that tonight, but that's again, as you take in information, what does it mean to me? As I was coming on, I see Brother Zach was going on again, some bullshit. He's everything. That has to be hard. Everything that comes on, you got to react. Yeah. To me, that shows a pattern of something else. that everything ain't worth your attention. It's like saying that every dude, if you're a woman, every dude you see you're attracted to. Every dude you see you like. It's a man, every girl you see, every woman. It ain't like that. It ain't like that. Stories is the same way. It ain't like that. Especially weekend stories. So, but I guess I'll go. Yeah, so. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, got some stuff in the works too. Yeah, when it comes through, definitely gonna show it. Looks like yeah. Some of this other stuff we're gonna like put you guys up on, and if it comes, yeah, once everything is done, you guys are really gonna enjoy this stuff. The opportunities that we could open up, this legal stuff that looks like could actually some good opportunities with real people that have skills and yeah. So there's some things that might interest some people that they can look at the process and see they want to join. That's on them. But yeah, working on that too. Yeah, that should and actually, it was something Sly already showed it. So Sly already showed that this is quality. What it is, the work is quality. Sly, I think he showed it today. This video showed it. So we've got a genius in our midst that his work is already out there. His work is going to be highlighted more. So yeah. So yeah. Well, we're gonna and more people will want to get this kind of skill. So I'm pretty sure of it. So yeah. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's the right connect. Everybody that's supposed to connect, we're all connected. So. Well, I think I'm going to call it. Yeah, a little short of 2 hours. Yeah. And tomorrow, see if I can get everything going tomorrow. Man, that's what I'll do. I got to get up early. So if I can, let's see how that will set up. So if we can get everything done tomorrow, we'll see how that setup looks. Don't know if I can get everything done, but we'll see. See if we can get everything connected. That's the biggest part. It's changing stuff over. So if we can get all that done, we'll see. Not sure. Plus my son has to work and he's got to do a lot of that connecting. So not sure if we can get everything done tomorrow. Maybe some of it. We'll see. But he's got to go to work early. So we'll see. So, but sound wise, this place will do. This will really do sound wise. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. So this works. Even the window, it's not really hearing a lot of back here. A little bit back here. I can hear it. A little bit of bouncing off here. So put your stuff here. Yeah. Isn't the shirt dope? Adidas. Isn't that cool? I don't know who this guy is, but I thought the art was really cool. Isn't that a cool art? I like this cool art shirts. This was at the Adidas outlet, $15. Cheaper than Marshalls. Marshalls still charging like 20 something for just t-shirts. But I thought it was kind of cool. Just a nice cool print. Maybe somebody out there knows who this is. I don't know who this is. So, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, well, you know who I am. This is Big Pontiac. Till we meet again. Say less.